What does racism mean to me? I think racism is taught. It is something that it is taught to you by parents, by older people in your family, and if it is not called on, it becomes normalized. And that, it's awful. The idea that there's a societal ladder that you're allowed to judge somebody by the hue of their skin, that one person is better than another because of the pigment in their skin, it's completely based in falsehoods. It's ridiculous and so damaging to our community. I think we have so much work to do to better welcome our newcomers, be better at taking care of the most vulnerable in our community, people who are experiencing profound poverty. We've got to do better at taking care of one another. And racism is a huge part of that. There is so much work that Saskatoon needs to do, and really being honest with ourselves and really facing up to the reality of the world we live in is a huge part of that. Racism is crap. It's BS. We should have zero tolerance to it. I have definitely experienced racism in Saskatoon and Saskatchewan. I think of, actually, I ran for public office in 2011 and I was really proud of myself. And the day after that, I got really sick. You guys all know what that's like. You're running on adrenaline and then you get sick. And after that, I went to a drugstore on 22nd and I was waiting for my prescription to be filled, and I realized a security guard was following me. And I sat down waiting for my name to be called at the pharmacy, and I asked the security guard, "Can I help you?" Because he sat down literally right next to me, and he said, "I'm just waiting for you to leave the store." And that was that moment of realizing that, sure, I was brave enough to put my name as somebody who is running for public office, but this is what it looks like to live in Saskatoon. I never want to forget that. Sometimes racism is subtle. Sometimes racism is overt. Sometimes it's trying to get a vehicle to stop for you on 22nd. What skin color is the person who's going to stop for me? Usually it would be one of my kin who will stop for me. And that's, I'm very thankful. That's subtle racism, right? Who's going to stop for you? Who's going to actually acknowledge your presence as a human being and allow you to pass? That's one of those things. Yeah. When I think of racism, we all have our stories. We all have our experiences of being treated a particular way. Or assuming that you're not as intelligent, or assuming you're not educated, or you don't have a voice, or you don't have much experience. Sometimes I wonder if it's an element of sexism, sometimes it's racism. I definitely have had people interact with me in a way that I'm like, I wonder if you're talking to me like that because of how you are judging me. I don't know, but I am one of many, many people who experience racism in Saskatoon on an extremely regular basis. It's awful. It's in the fabric of our community, and anybody who says otherwise is sticking their head in the sand and pretending it doesn't exist. I like that we're ending on a hopeful question. Can I just say I'm proud to be a bridge of ending racism in Saskatoon. I feel like the advocacy I do is a part of that. I feel like every single time I can gently call somebody on something, or I can put forward an idea that works for Indigenous folks or for our community, or we're filling a gap to make what we do on a regular basis better for more people. I'm a bridge to ending racism in Saskatoon. I think it's going to take time. I think it's going to take a number of really crummy conversations, and hopefully people will hear what we're trying to say and know that it can totally get better. It doesn't have to be this way. I feel like there's been a shift in consciousness when it comes to race, when it comes to privilege and gender in the last few years. And I'm hopeful for what we can accomplish. I'm hopeful for what we can do together, but it's got to be together. It can't just be a few of us just trying to lead the charge. It's always better when you've got allies and people fighting alongside you and beside you and behind you and backing you up. That's huge. Not just being the only person. It shouldn't be the brown person in the office who calls somebody on racism. No, we all have a responsibility and obligation of creating a safe work environment. And that's the type of thing that slowly but surely letting people know that that behavior is not acceptable in a workplace. That type of joke is not acceptable. And also checking in and making sure somebody is okay, right? It's the little things. It's making people know that you honor their dignity as human beings, that that's intrinsic and important to you, and they feel honored and heard. It's those little things, right? It's not going to be a monumental change. This is going to be a systemic, long-standing project that we've all got to work on together. So I hope that I'm a bridge to ending racism in Saskatoon, but I hope you're going to join me on that bridge because we can't do it without you.